Okay, so today we are talking about the 26th spirit of the Goetia, and probably my favourite. Yes, I do have favourites. This spirit is called Bune. Welcome to my channel. You are entering the world of magic and mysticism with your host, Lee W. Johnson. Keep the lights on and help improve the channel by becoming a supporter for just $2.99 per month. Hit the join button. Okay, Bune, as I said, probably my favourite. Okay, let's get into the correspondences. I do have a bit of a story to tell about Bune, which I'll get into later. I just want to get through all of the other stuff first, the usual stuff that we do. Okay, correspondences. Date December 3rd to 12th, direction west, tarot is 9 of Wands, planet Venus, metal copper, element earth, color green, plant orange, incense sandalwood, zodiac is 10 to 19 degrees Sagittarius. Other correspondences: bloodroot, gold, angelica, mandrake. And the N is Welik, Milan, Avaj, Bune, Tassa. Okay, so starting with the Goetia itself, appeareth in the form of dragon with 3 heads, one like a dog, one like a griffin, and one like a man. He speaketh with a high and comely voice. And he changeth the place of the dead, and causeth the spirits which be under him to gather together upon your sepulchres. He giveth riches, He giveth riches unto man, and maketh him wise and eloquent. He giveth true answers unto demands. Now, what you'll find interesting about Bune is that I don't know if it was just a personal thing that I saw through the years, but there was always a focus with Bune on finances and financial magic and bringing you wealth and riches. And then I don't know if it was because Connolly came along and things just changed, but the focus then became on the necromantic aspects of Bune. Going into Connolly, the only thing that's mentioned in Connolly's Demonology Goetia is this specifically. One of the Goetia's necromancy demons, when channeling the dead, invoke Bune to keep order and peace during the seance, can impart understanding and wisdom about the nature of death. So Connolly doesn't even mention the financial aspect. She does go into it. If you go into Keys of Orcat, there is mention of it in there, but again, that whole book is about necromantic magic. So the focus is a lot on the necromantic aspects of Bune. VK Johannam doesn't mention anything more really. Does obviously go into the financial aspects, but it's just really simply bringing riches to man, making them wise and eloquent. So it makes you more comely, gives you more charisma and things like that, so that you can gain more wealth and riches. But Johannam does say can bring the dead to congregate as well as part the veil between the living and the dead. Now, this is an interesting necromantic aspect of Bune that I personally find. There are various spirits that you can work with from a necromantic perspective: Eurynomus, Babael, Bolbereth, Anubis, Hecate, etc., etc., etc. The thing that I find interesting about Bune in the necromantic aspect is that Bune is often called to guard the veil between the worlds. So when you are doing some kind of medium work, a seance, some kind of necromantic work where you are speaking with the dead, what you're going to be doing is you're going to be opening a gate between the worlds, so that the dead can come through and speak with you. And what you'll find is, and you'll find all the warnings and everything else, that when you do this, the astral parasites that are on the other side can easily come through. Or you may not want particular spirits to come through, particular dead to come through, and start confusing things and making things a bit crazy. So what you can do is call on Bune to stand guard at the gate and kind of keep peace and order, and just to make sure that none of those astral parasites come through, that you are speaking with the dead that you actually do want to speak to. So a very important aspect there. The Goetia ritual just goes into the dragon aspect. It mentions the following: celestial and beneficent, but also chthonic and destructive. As auto-chthonous, masters of the ground, dragons are guardians of treasures and of the portals of esoteric knowledge. Cooper writes, the dragon symbolizes the difficulties to overcome in gaining the treasures of inner knowledge. Killing the dragon is the conflict between light and darkness, man overcoming his own dark nature and attaining self-mastery. I don't want to get into the dragon aspects because that's a whole topic on its own. But the dragon is very symbolic of the attainment of knowledge. Peter Padden spoke of the drake and the crown, and the drake being the more bestial lower self, the instinctual self, which then is raised up in order to create union with the crown. So the dragon and the crown become united in order to reach the holy guardian angel that Crowley spoke about, that higher self, and bring all of the aspects into union and balance. Now, when I'll mention at the beginning, I've got my own little tale about Bune. Not too long back, I have a puppet that, one of the ones that I had from when we did the puppet house, and Bune actually kind of liked this puppet, so wanted me to use it on an altar for her. And her, yes. Oh, it's always mentioned, the Goetia, all the spirits in the Goetia are masculine, but you'll find that a lot of people actually consider Bune to be feminine. I do. Bune for me is definitely feminine. And she asked me to put the puppet on the altar, and I also had it's a Hecate prayer bead. So it's black and white beads with a little key on it, which I was gifted. And she liked that as well, so that hangs around the neck of the puppet. And I've mentioned it before, I kind of like to, specifically with Bune and the spirits that I work with in that relationship with business and finances and such. I sometimes like to sit and just have a cup of hot chocolate, and I spill a bit of hot chocolate into the libation dish, and then I just talk to them. And one particular night I was doing this, and I was taken on a spontaneous journey, and there was a few things that happened. She took me to a little hut, and there was a bed there, and we lay naked together, and then we got up and went outside, but I noticed she had a crescent moon on her forehead, which kind of reminded me of Hecate. I didn't really make the connection between Hecate, asking for Hecate's prayer beads to be on the neck of the puppet. I didn't really make that connection with Bune and Hecate. I just thought, Bune liked the prayer beads. So anyway, she had this crescent moon on her forehead, and then proceeded to tell me that she is Hecate. Now, I know a lot of people are going to disagree with me here. That's fine. You can disagree with me all you want. This is what I was told by the spirit. So Bune said that she is Hecate, and then proceeded to change into the form of the dragon with the 3 heads. So it's the dog with the griffin and the man, usually depicted as an old man. If you actually check the thumbnail to this video, that's an image that I drew about 10 years ago, I think, maybe longer. And anyway, changed into the form of the symbolic representation that is mentioned in the Goetia, and told me that this is where I got the whole idea, the whole learning, teaching, what have you, that the depictions of the spirits in the Goetia are actually symbolic. It's not actually what they look like. It's giving them form that is symbolic to their purpose, to what they do, their aspects and things. So the dragon, and the 3 heads. So the 3 heads are the 3, kind of like the 3 faces, not really the three faces of Hecate, but kind of like the 3 faces, which become a representation of the 3 realms, of the guide, guardian, and gatekeeper, and those 3 aspects of the crossroads. And then the dragon is obviously the draconic aspect of Hecate, and the crossroads spirits, the liminal deity aspect. Now, Bune being Hecate, I did find one person who, well, I didn't actually find them, I found mention of a video where it's mentioned Bune being Hecate. Unfortunately, that video is private and I couldn't see it. I don't know who it was, but that's the only mention I found of it. Scholarly research usually states that Astarte, therefore Astaroth, is usually Hecate, or equated with Hecate. But if we consider Hecate's many epithets and aspects, Hecate is many things, and what you might find, what I found, is that Bune is just one of those aspects of Hecate. So she did say she is Hecate, just one of the aspects of Hecate, the necromantic aspect. So the aspect which falls into conjunction with the necromantic and the crossroads, the liminal spaces that we find within the crossroads demons or the crossroads deities. So yes, for me, maybe not for everybody, you have to find out for yourself. Hecate and Bune are the same, or Bune is Hecate. Alright, so that was my little venture down that rabbit hole, which was very interesting, I must say. And as I said, it was a completely spontaneous journey. I was just sitting there, having a chat. I chant the N for a while, and then I just went into deep trance, and I was taken on this journey by her. Very interesting. Anyway, so that's Bune, also known as Bim, or Bime, or Beam, depending on how you want to pronounce that. Sometimes it's spelled B-I-M, sometimes it's spelled B-I-M-E, but usually Bune, which is spelled B-U-N-E. Okay, so I'm going to end this one today, and thanks for watching, and we'll be back next week. Cheers for now.